Ever since I started practicing Magic, one of the skills I've been trying to perfect is memorizing a deck of cards from the top all the way to the bottom, all 52 cards. It's a very, very difficult feat, but I think I've gotten to the point where I'm actually pretty good at it, so I would like to demonstrate my skills with you. We can begin by completely shuffling this deck of cards, and now I'm going to invite the spectator to cut a small pile of cards off the top. It can be as big as you'd like, but the spectator can go ahead and cut their own little pile. I'll invite them to shuffle the pile as much as they want. It truly does not matter. They can mix it up as much as they want. And now, once the cards have been shuffled, I would like them to take the cards to themselves. I don't want to see how many you have, but just count them to yourself like this and just kind of remember that secret number. But again, don't show me the cards. I don't want to hear the number out loud either. But they would do this to themselves. So they will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cards. So they are remembering the number 13. Now I tell them to remember that number, but you can continue shuffling the cards. And once you're happy with the order of the cards, you can also peek at the card on the bottom of the deck and remember this card. So once they're remembering the card on the bottom, they can go ahead and drop the pile back on the deck. And now I can turn around because I didn't want to see or hear anything about their number or their card. But now they have a card and a number in mind. So first we're going to mix up the deck before I actually start this memorizing process. So clearly your card is not going to be on top or bottom. Perfect. So here's what we're going to do, okay? I am now going to try to memorize this entire deck of cards from top to bottom in about 5 seconds. Okay, so give me 5 seconds. Here we go. Boom. I've done it. I've just memorized the entire deck from top to bottom. Now to prove this, let's just keep it simple. Remember the number you were just thinking of. So you can go ahead and tell me what the number was, and I will tell you which card lies in that position in the deck. So if they tell me their secret number is 13. Now, okay, if I remember correctly, I think the 13th card, it was the 5 of Hearts. 13th card, 5 of Hearts. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 is the 5 of Hearts. Now that's just one, simple way I could prove my memorization. But of course, this was your secret number that you were remembering in the beginning. And the 5 of Hearts isn't the card that you chose, right? And your card also isn't going to be anywhere near here because remember, we shuffled these cards before we did anything. But let's try this. Now, if you were to tell me the identity of your card, I currently don't know it, but if I could know where it is in the deck, maybe I could reposition it to be in your secret number, because we saw the 13th card wasn't your card, but maybe if you tell me your card, so they're gonna go ahead and tell me their card. And now, if I remember, I think that card was about 35 down in the deck. It was a bit deeper, so I think what I'm gonna have to do here is cut it so it's a bit higher. So I think 27, 21, and 13, right about there. Now your card should be the 13th card in the deck. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and the 13th card is now your card, the Jack of Spades. And if you would like to learn how it's done, be sure to stick around for the tutorial.
The mind is led on, step by step, to defeat its own logic.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's trick, we're going to be learning a very interesting version of the memorized deck plot. This is a completely impromptu trick that uses a totally borrowed and shuffled deck. So just grab a deck of cards and follow along. So the first step obviously is to shuffle, and afterwards you're actually going to grab a chunk of cards, roughly a quarter of the deck, to yourself, and you're going to use this as a demonstration to allow the spectator to grab their own little chunk of cards. So you grab the top half, spectator will grab a chunk from the middle of the deck. Now you invite them to shuffle the cards, and you're going to start shuffling the cards face down, and then you're going to very casually tip the cards over face up. And this is what I like to do. I'm going to now memorize the 5th card in the deck by peeling off 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right here, I'm going to now memorize the Jack of Spades as my new key card. And now I'm going to continue shuffling these cards on top, but leave that Jack of Spades as the 5th card from the top. And the spectator's pile, keep in mind, can be completely mixed. So now you're going to demonstrate that you want the spectator to start counting their cards like this and to remember how many they have. And what you're going to do is you're going to count off 4 cards singly, and then you're just going to casually drop these on the deck, and then you're going to split this pile in half, drop the left hand first, and then the right hand. This just seems like you're dropping the cards on the deck and you don't really care about the order, but what you've just done is you've secretly controlled your memorized key card to the top of the deck. So now you know which card is on top. So now the spectator can shuffle and count their cards. So they're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This truly can be any amount of cards. It doesn't matter that it's 13 again, just like it was in the performance. And also, you will not know how many cards the spectator is holding. They will keep this number as a secret. But once they memorize the number, they can now shuffle the cards as much as they want. And then when they're ready, they can take a look and memorize the bottom card of their pile. In this case, we have the 6 of diamonds. And again, the spectators will not show you this whatsoever. So you will have no idea how many cards they have or what card they're looking at. But once they're done, you're going to ask them to drop the pile on top of the deck. And now you can shuffle the cards. And all you're really going to be doing here is you're actually just going to be moving the top card from the top to the bottom of the deck by doing a double undercut. So I grab a break on this top card with my thumb, just like this. And now I usually do like a triple or a quadruple undercut, but you're essentially just going to be cutting cards from the bottom to the top, just in little piles, placing them on top of the deck like this. And now you're just going to keep cutting until you reach the break. And this is just simulating the action of mixing up the cards. But in reality, all it's doing is it's moving that card from the top to the bottom. At this point, you've actually just placed your key card that you have memorized in the same position of the spectator's secret number. So all you have to do now is pretend like you're going to memorize the deck since you just shuffled them. So now you're going to take about 5 seconds and you're just going to riffle through the cards and pretend like you're memorizing the order. And now you're going to ask them to challenge you by giving them the secret number that they remembered, and you're going to identify the card in that position. So they will tell you 13, and now you're just going to name the card that you memorized. So the Jack of Spades will be the 13th card, and now you're going to count the cards face down into a pile, one at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. This will be your memorized key card. And now you explain that this is a very simple demonstration of memory, but now you're going to bring the attention back to their card and say, remember, that was the secret number you chose, but this wasn't your card, was it? And they're going to say no. And now you're going to flip over the next card, showing that their selection is not going to be near this card either. And then you're going to do what's called the tabled double lift. Instead of flipping over the top card of this pile, which actually is their card, you're actually going to flip over a double lift by doing this move, which I do have a tutorial for if you don't know how to do this move. But you're going to be pressing down and then lifting up 2 cards with your thumb here on the side edge. You're going to show that their card is not here either. And now what you're going to do is take this double here and you're actually going to place it on top of these other 2 cards. And now you're going to take all 3 cards as a group and turn them over on the top of the deck, and then you're going to take the cards that you dealt on the table and replace those back on top. What this did is it actually just placed their selection in the 13th position. So it basically just corrected the order of the deck. So now there's 2 ways to go about this, and I would probably recommend doing it the way I did in the performance, although you could technically present this in a more magical, mystical sense. But the way I did it in the performance is I simply just did a false cut after they tell me the identity of their card. So they will tell me the 6 of diamonds, and now I just say that their card was around 35 or so. So now I'm going to do this false cut, which I will demonstrate here. I'm going to swing cut about half the cards into my left hand, and then break off another chunk right here, hold a pinky break down as I swing cut these cards here. I'm gonna transfer the grip on the top from my middle finger to my index finger, and then I'm gonna grab the top pile with my thumb underneath here, like this, as my middle finger grabs that middle pile. And now I'm gonna use my thumb to scoop up this card, and I'm still gonna maintain a pinky break as I release this packet. And now I'm going to slap this pile on top of the deck, and now all I have to do is double undercut this pile back to the top of the deck. So I will just do a double undercut. And what I like to do here is I will state that I'm moving their card into the correct position. So I stated that it was around 35. So if I do the double undercut, I'll say, so that should be about, 24. This is about 18. And now the card is at 13. So this just kind of adds to the illusion that you are moving the card to the correct position, even though you're actually not doing anything. And now you can count 13 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and the 13th card will be their selection. And that can be the end of the trick. Of course, there is another way to present this, although I don't really think it would make a whole lot of sense in the context of the presentation that I provided you with here in this performance. But technically, once you put those 3 cards back and then the dealt pile back on top of the deck, the trick is essentially over, and you can actually be completely hands-off at this point. And if you want this to be a more magical presentation as opposed to a skillful demonstration, you can instead have them name their card, and then you can pretend like the card is moving on its own and rising to the correct position from deeper in the deck. So you can tell them it's around 35, but if I move my hand here, I can get it to about 24, and now it's about 18, and now it's 13. And now you can deal through the cards and you don't have to do any false cuts or any sleight of hand. It will look like the card magically appears in the 13th position without doing anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. But I think if you were going to do this presentation, you would have to incorporate some sort of magical element or line early on in the presentation, because to me, this kind of feels out of nowhere, whereas I think the other version just adds to the context of the memorized deck routine, and it just comes off as a more skillful demonstration, which I think fits this effect a little bit better, but it's completely up to you how you want to frame it. But yeah, guys, that is going to be the tutorial for this trick. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Yeah, I will see you guys for the next video. Bye.